There you go. Resumed.
All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and
I gotta
the kiss.
sign you off.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another LongWalker's special. We're gonna resume the how porn adds to problems for teenagers and just what it does. Also, I would like to give a shout out to somebody that's been responding to a lot of my lives. Sulk Street 999. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate your participation and help. If you ever want to do a special, just let me know the day. Alright, let's get to it. Okay, we've got a cartoon to begin with. So.
It's all about porn. Something I'm sure you boys have seen once or twice growing up. While it's awfully exciting to most tweens and teens, pornography has a dark side, especially when it comes to teen viewers. And the effects of consuming too much too early can be quite damaging. So what effects can pornography have on teen boys? Hello and welcome to my channel, where we share videos about all things puberty. From topics like this one, to how to clean your penis, or what to expect from puberty.
Wow.
If you're interested in receiving our weekly video updates, then hit the like button and subscribe. Now let's jump straight in. Ask this question to any bunch of teenagers, and the only answer you'll get is nervous laughter. Porn is one of those things we all know about, but no one talks about it. Essentially, pornography is any kind of media that depicts nudity, sexual acts, and up to full intercourse with the purpose of arousing the viewer. In the pre-internet days, pornography was limited to magazines, VHS tapes, and DVDs. It was a lot harder to access, especially for minors, as it involved paying for it in person. Then the internet came along and the industry absolutely boomed. In fact, it's said that the early popularity boom on the internet was actually powered by pornography, which was one of the first industries to move online. These days, anyone with an internet connection has access to vast libraries of pornography after just a few easy clicks. Billions of pictures and videos sorted into categories, all available instantly and without costing a cent. Pornography is everywhere now, accessible to everyone, with no real checks on age or maturity. The age in which kids are exposed to porn gets younger and younger each year, and can have some pretty serious effects on a teen's development and understanding of sex and relationships. Porn may look like a bit of innocent, private fun, and it's perfectly natural to be curious. But there is a dark side you need to understand before hitting that incognito mode and locking the bedroom door.
Yeah.
In popular culture, porn addictions are often joked about and played off as harmless. But did you know around 20 million American men have a serious addiction to porn? It may not seem like a lot, but in the past 10 years, that number has grown.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, I had issues with it when I was younger, and I know that it's got a lot of people, especially since, like they said, now with the internet, with cell phones, it's a big thing. You can watch it anywhere. I mean, it's bad.
Significantly, and it has a lot of medical professionals worried. Watching porn from a young age can affect your future romantic relationships. Porn is all about self-gratification, but in a relationship, this isn't what sex is about at all.
Yes, now, as we're heading into this, my relationship still is affected to this day from it, because you're not just attaching yourself to your partner when you get married and you have these problems. Everything that you see on the web is then attached to you. It takes a hold of you. Even when you're not doing it anymore, you still have the imprinting from those websites on you.
Yeah, imprinting is a good word. Because it's the same principles like imprinting in a good way, but it's in a bad way. It's actually really good because it does shape you. It dictates how things are going to go. And it's like we don't have the traditional issues, I don't think, that people do when they talk about couples having the porn situation, but we have our own unique things, and it comes around in a really negative way.
It does, yes.
And it throws me into a tailspin of, okay, well, where do you really stand? How do you really feel about me? Have you just been doing this because you think you're supposed to? Those sorts of thoughts in your partner.
For sure.
It's about both people involved having a good time and enjoying themselves. Pornography also sets unrealistic expectation for teen boys about partners and sexual behaviors. What you see on screen isn't necessarily how people act, or even what they enjoy in real life.
Yeah.
Porn is full of edited and scripted sex acts, almost the opposite to sex in reality. Another effect porn has on teen boys is their brain development. When teen boys watch pornography repeatedly, it causes their brains to release high levels of chemicals and form new nerve pathways. These new nerve pathways have long-lasting and profound effects on the brain. When a teen watches porn repeatedly, their brains reward the feelings they get once they've ejaculated. The brain becomes rewired to enjoy the predictable patterns of porn consumption, a trait which can hinder healthy sexual arousal later in life. There's actually an epidemic of millennials right now who have to rely on erectile dysfunction medication in order to maintain a real-life sexual relationship with their partner, because anything other than porn isn't exciting enough. Porn also encourages unhealthy dynamics between men and women. More often than not, porn shows men dominating or mistreating women, or initiating sexual contact without consent. This can severely cloud a young boy's views on how to treat women in and outside of the bedroom. Studies show that teen boys who view porn 6 or more times a week are more likely to be aggressive or sexually violent later in life. The fact remains, consuming porn from a young age can have some disastrous effects on relationships, libido, addiction, and treatment of the opposite sex. Unfortunately, that's our time for today. We hope you now understand more about the dangers of pornography. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, please leave a like and subscribe for more videos about topics that matter the most. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, like they said on that, I mean, there's a lot of issues that can go from that. We had friends that the guy could not get off unless he was watching porn.
Or had just done it just before.
Or had just done it. I mean, it is a serious thing, and it happens a lot.
They were only like 23 years old.
Yes.
And it's like, why? How does that even come around? Did you lose your...
No, I'm back into it.
Okay. And it's like, how does it even come around that early?
Yeah, exactly.
Like yours was pretty well curved after we got together, so about the age of like 19 or 20.
Yeah.
Still had a couple of speed bumps along the way, and like when we separated and stuff, there was issues, but it was like... we worked through that, you know, and we acknowledged that, but it's like, he was, and we never had intimacy issues because of it that way. It's like, we never had that problem. But, like, he literally could not, like, get it up or be intimate without viewing that.
And that's a bigger issue.
That's really big. That's like a...
yes.
It's kind of scary, you know.
It is very scary. Alright, we got another one that's 5 minutes long.
He forgot to put it on air free.
There is, of course, a set of initials for it, IRL, or in real life. It's what teenagers use to describe what's happening beyond the far more alluring virtual world of the internet, where they're spending up to 8 hours every day. The filmmaker and peer, Biban Kidron, has been investigating what all this is doing to our nation's youth. A new film, In Real Life, is out this week.
The people who invented the internet had no idea that this would become the basis of society.
This afternoon I went with Biban Kidron to Stoke Newington School and Sixth Form to find out what teenagers make of their web surfing lives. Jamie, how long would you spend on the internet on an average day?
About 5-6 hours. I mean, I kind of secretly go on the internet when I'm at school. Yeah, because, I mean, it's slightly irresistible.
What about you, Natalie?
Well, for me, it's like first thing, like when I wake up, I like get on my phone and like check what's on Facebook, on like Twitter and everything, because there's always like new stuff.
The thing, John, is that kids are totally unsupervised on the net, you know, and that the net is everything now. So on the net, they have their photos, they have their relationships, they have their phone books. They also get their homework on the net. And so the separation... Yeah, so the separation that we may have had in our generation between one thing and another, between a sort of a school life, a family life, and a personal life, has sort of all collapsed. And I think that it's very difficult, isn't it, just to avoid Ask FM or avoid Facebook when you're actually trying to do something serious.
Jamie, have you ever been on a porn site?
A lot of people.
I mean, no, I don't want to really look up
You know, it's not just about the porn. I mean, the internet has a lot of people addicted. I have seen several videos about people that have to blog everything they do.
Yeah.
Even going to the bathroom. They have to blog when they're going to the bathroom.
Yeah, there's a whole trend on TikTok where it's doing an update while you're sitting on the toilet.
Yeah.
You know,
and I mean
TikTok trend is like,
yeah.
Oh, TikTok. You know.
You know, that's where a lot of the woke cringe stuff comes from. Is TikTok.
Yeah, it's a cesspool. I always say to stay out of the city. And I always say that TikTok is a really great representative of the city mentality. What I mean by the city. And it's like, it's funny, it's called TikTok Heartbeat. You know, heart of the city. Right there at TikTok. Right? It's just, oh, God.
Yeah,
it's a whole other entity.
Yeah, it's bad.
Porn sites and all that kind of stuff, because, well, it's not my cup of tea, really.
I think we might bring in the older because maybe they live in a different world. Do you recognise anything that they've been talking about in terms of sort of hours that they spend? How long do you spend on that?
I would say on school nights about 5-6 hours, that kind of time.
Really? Being on a porn site?
I would say that's hardly a confession.
About 5 hours of people spend
I think
on
there's a lot of there's a sense that there's something of a more open idea about sexuality nowadays, I feel.
You don't think that porn is an exploitation of sexuality and perhaps takes it beyond?
I think with many things, there are certain types and certain fringe aspects of it that would exploit, but I don't personally enjoy exploitation, so I try and avoid.
How much of that is work and how much is that iPad social?
Well,
in reality, in terms of your usage?
Genuinely probably about 50-50.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I can check Facebook maybe like something ridiculous like 30 times a day, but that would only take 10 seconds at a time, or if I'm having a conversation, a few minutes. But you can spend hours reading. You know, I've got every single newspaper, every single episode on the iPad and on my phone.
How much do you spend your iPad? You're a footballer, I mean, man, you're always training. So when do you ever get time to?
Well, because I have 2 phones, I can use loads of things that are connected to the internet. So maybe 3-4 hours a day. So but mainly via my phone. So
for this generation, the distinctions that you and I try and make are just simply don't exist. The on, offline, and the how you use it. And I think one of the things that the experts, if you like, are finding is that I'm only on it 10 seconds, 30 times a day to check a very short message is part of the problem. Part of the problem is if you're constantly interrupted, that the thing that you're trying to do that is focused and really fantastic, and there's loads of it on the internet, I'm the first one to say that, is actually interrupted. And they're finding that people are finding it harder and harder to not interrupt themselves as they go.
Yes. You're nodding your head, Hurry. Yeah, is it the same for you?
I think it is. I think it's really hard to concentrate, especially on a piece of work that really needs to get done because you dread it, and it's a lot more interesting to just go and check on your personal life or go and check messages and stuff. So I think you just really need to push yourself, and even if you for me personally, even if I turn my phone off or anything, it's just a couple of minutes and I have to go turn it back on. I think I'm a bit of an addict.
Hurry, aged 15, ending that report from Stoke Newington School.
Namaskar.
Admitting the problem.
Yes, that is the first step, is admitting the problem.
This one will play on its own. I told it to play all of them.
Okay. Ready?
Everyone should understand that porn has little to do with sex and desire. Desire is never a simple animalistic act of penetration, even physiologically. Porn has severe effect on your body. You may think that it is just for fun or good stress buster, but you have no idea how many problems it will create in your life. First, health issues.
Yes.
Let me begin with the most direct effect of porn on your body. This includes erectile dysfunctioning and premature ejaculation. Erectile dysfunction is when the man can't get or keep an erection firm during sexual intercourse, whereas premature ejaculation occurs when ejaculation occurs too quickly during sexual intercourse. Well, these problems can aggravate with time and in fact lead to bigger problems such as unsatisfactory sex life. Not only that, it can cause even infertility and prohibit you from having a child. Think over it. It's critical and it can affect your future. Second problem, low libido. You will be surprised to know that in reality, porn lowers your libido. The sexual instinct also defines as sexual desire or pleasure called as libido. When person suffers from low libido, it will impact mental well-being. You might get drifted to stress or chronic illness.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, because the amount of times that you have sex can increase everything about your health. Or if it goes the other way, it can, create a lot more problems for you. It's just like any cardio workout. It can increase blood flow. It's like a number one thing.
I mean, there's the endorphins and then the pleasure-seeking thing. It's like you're supposed to be rewarded for, like we would say in spirituality, rewarded for your commitment, but it's the same thing. It's like you should be like the ultimate reward, and if you like, just like with any kind of drug or anything, it's like making you release those endorphins and the dopamine so much that it's just no longer a reward. And there's nothing in it. It's just another task, just another thing to do.
Yes.
It becomes more of a habit.
And it becomes more of a problem.
Right.
So yes, I mean, there's a lot that can happen.
Or depression. Your disinterest at all times can also impact your relationships. Third, hair loss and premature aging. Well, I've already spoken about serious health conditions that can occur with such an addiction. But there are many more health issues that can occur. According to Ayurveda, in our youth, the Ojas Tattva is very prominent, and as we age, it diminishes. This Ojas Tattva refers to the essence of vitality, such as youthfulness, radiant skin, muscular strength, and so on. Now, when a person indulges in porn, his Ojas Tattva depletes rapidly, and this gives rise to old age symptoms like hair fall, aging, wrinkles, etc. Fourth, it creates confusion. Porn creates a false idea of sex in your mind. It creates unrealistic expectations about sex and sexuality in youth. Excessive porn increases the need for your simulation. Your real life partner can't compete with the scene which you have seen in porn, and you are not aroused by them. You will slowly face...
No, because like it went over in the other ones, porn is fake, porn is staged. It's all done to draw the mind for the camera, yes.
It's just the visualization. It is to draw the mind, but it's like the way that they have the positions, because I've been on the other side of that. Positions, and it's like it's just acting.
Yes.
It's just like, call it an artistic endeavor, but it's all. And it's all for the angles, and it's all for the view. But now we got howling.
Yeah, now we got howling.
Wait a second.
So we gotta wait to start the thing. Enjoy some howling for a minute.
Yeah, it's like it's for the camera.
Yeah.
It's like they don't even I don't know, I haven't seen any kind of porn probably since like 2013.
Yeah.
But like now they don't even then they're starting to get rid of like storylines, so you can even get invested in the storyline.
I know.
It was just like oh, one clip to the next, to the next, to the next, just all like sex scenes. You know, it's like what has happened to the build up,
A lot. I mean, they've taken it away and made it so that you just get the excitement.
Yeah. He said it's gone bad enough that he has classmates that will literally watch stuff
in school.
In school.
Yes.
Difficulty becoming aroused without pornography. This will cause you to lose interest in sex with your partner. Apart from unsatisfactory sex life, porn can cause several other issues like addiction, isolation, increased aggression, and negativity about sex and relationship. All this will cause severe stress not only in your intimate relationship but also in your family, workplace, and community life. Porn addiction can also encourage mental health disorders such as anxiety disorder, mood disorders, and substance abuse challenges. Well, I'm not talking about the moral grounds. That is entirely up to you to decide. But the point I'm making today is that you might be experiencing physical, emotional, or even social problems. The underlying reason for all these problems could be addiction. So, choose mental and physical wellness, avoid premature aging, as well as maintain healthy relationships. Remember, addiction of any type is going to create only problems, nothing else. So avoid all these addictions and stay fit, happy, and healthy. Namaskar.
It's interesting because they came out with all these studies, supposed studies, scientific studies.
In the year 2008,
Early like 2000s, 2010 or so, where they were really pushing the ideology that frequent masturbation for both sexes and this sort of thing is actually healthy and encouraged.
Yeah.
And then you come to like do your research and find out that in any aspect, whether it's scientific, emotional, or spiritual, it's not a good idea.
No, it's not at all.
It's actually better to retain that.
Yeah.
And it's like, but they acted like, oh, well, if you keep that stuff bottled up, it'll go to your brain and you'll be crazy.
Yeah, and then you learn the opposite from a couple of the other religions about the retention, about not doing it.
Right.
About, like you said, building it up and it'll become...
And then there's scientific studies to back that up now as well.
Yeah,
but it's like for a 10 to 15 year period of our life, they were just really trying to encourage that immoral behavior and say, no, it's totally normal. It's like, it's actually needed, you'll get sick if you don't.
Exactly.
It's like, don't be ashamed, and it's like, shame, it's telling you that something is wrong.
Yes.
So.
But it's our typical government wanting to push an agenda so that they can benefit from it. I mean...
And it's like, it has totally destroyed the nuclear family. It has totally destroyed, like, people wanting to have children, and, like, it's just this whole triforce of evil that's been put on us by society between, trans people, the child free by choice, and then this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Trifecta bullshit.
It really is.
the Aware Academy was invited to conduct lectures, workshops, and training on the harmful impacts of pornography in the beautiful city of Jakarta, Indonesia. It was there where I had the honor of meeting a great and a very passionate lady, Ellie Risman. Ellie Risman is an educator, activist, and a very well-known speaker who roamed the country in the past 20 plus years, educating parents, teachers, and students alike on the harmful impact of pornography. It was Ellie Risman, a 71-year-old hero, who introduced me to the research that I'd like to share with you today. Welcome to another episode of Pandemic. Today we are discussing Ellie Risman's story and the research of today's episode. She told me that in the past she had met Dr. Donald Hilton, a very well-known neurosurgeon from the US. He was in Indonesia delivering lectures about the harmful impact of pornography on the physical brain. It was there where she came to know about another study, a study that was conducted at Cambridge University. In that study, the researchers have examined 19 patients who were affected affected by compulsive sexual behavior and compared them with the same number of healthy volunteers. They examined them using a scanning system known as fMRI to measure their brain activity when they are exposed to pornographic content. And the finding was astonishing. The researchers found that 3 regions in the brain were more active in people with compulsive sexual behavior as compared with the healthy volunteers. Not only that, but these regions are the same being activated in the brains of drug addicts, indicating that the changes that may occur in one's brain as a result of being addicted to drugs like cocaine and heroin are the same changes that one may be affected with as a result of being exposed to pornography. Then Eli Rizman, the hero of our episode, decided to replicate the same study in Indonesia, but on young children aged 12 to 16. And after a few real hard works to find her candidates, the study finally found the light. Before sharing with you the summary of this research, please find in the description below links to both studies, the one that was conducted at Cambridge University as well as the initiative of Eli Rizman. This study was published in Neurology Research International and it is titled Impaired Recent Verbal Memory in Pornography-Addicted Juvenile Subjects. The team of researchers had to go through a lot of hassle. They had to conduct what is known as pornography addiction screening test, and in order to do that they have to find the subjects. And in order for them to find the subjects, they had to roam the country. Eli Rizman was one of the people who traveled and conducted sessions at schools to collect samples, to collect her subjects, children. To convince the parents was another hassle. To find children who were not addicted was another hassle, another challenge. And finally, of 740 children who were presented with 92 questionnaires regarding their consumption to pornography, 30 candidates were selected. 15 were addicted to pornography and 15 were non-addicts. And unlike the study that was conducted at Cambridge, the students of our research were not exposed to any pornographic content during the research. Instead, they were examined through different means to measure their verbal memory, visual memory, and attention. And the finding, once more, was astonishing. They found that these children who were addicted to pornography are actually impaired in their verbal memory. Verbal memory is so essential when it comes to memorizing words, concepts, and languages, all of which they need in their schoolings and their academic achievements in the future. And of course, with them being addicted to pornography at that very young age, the future does not look bright at all. Not only that, but the images shown in that study have also reflected a similar result to that of Cambridge University, and that is the impact of pornography on the prefrontal cortex. According to this research, they said that the prefrontal cortex of those who were addicted to pornography, children we are talking about here, children 12 to 16 years of age, their prefrontal cortex have shrunk by 4% of its actual size, leading to a lot of problems like lack of memory, lack of concentration, impaired judgment, impaired decision making, and so on and so forth. That's why sometimes we feel.
So do you think that it's caused by the early like porn exposure, or do you think it's like an underlying thing that starts for one reason and then continues for another? Like ADHD, you know how they have like ADHD?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Like your lack of ability to concentrate and everything, was that like started by something else? And then the porn just, like you just clung to it because of that?
It could have just been all together.
And then just blew it up? Or is it like literally caused?
I mean, I wasn't in good straits anyway because of my mother being an alcoholic.
Right, exactly.
A bad one at that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, with me being born like that, I mean, my teeth did not have the enamels a normal person's did. And I had to have all my teeth capped with my very first set of teeth.
So then you got physical issues there, and then you had emotional, mental instability created at the very young age of like 3 or 4 when your dad left.
Yes.
And then you had to deal with moving all the time and everything. So it's like maybe it starts for one reason.
And then just builds from there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's very, very possible.
You know, it's like, I know that this had already been developed in these people, and they talked about only like a 4-year span.
Yeah.
Because these people weren't exposed to that during the study, and they still showed
the signs.
Change.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like you have to wonder. It's like you'd have to get a hold of somebody before they were of that age. And see if they started watching porn and test them along the way, I guess.
Yeah, I mean that's what it would take.
Because then you could predispose. You could see who might be at risk.
Yes.
Before it's even a thing. I don't know. I mean, I know that societal pressures and trends and the availability of stuff.
It's
really
interesting, yeah.
Plays a role, but interesting. Good.
Agitated when we see reports like the UNICEF coming saying that pornography may not be that harmful to children, and any effort to block children from accessing online pornography may infringe on their human rights. Can you believe it? Where science is telling us that pornography could damage your brain physically, UNICEF, a reputable agency working for humanitarian causes to save lives, is telling us, no, it's not harmful, and anyone who tried to block children from accessing pornography is infringing on their human rights. So it is your call.
That's ridiculous.
You got the facts, you got the science telling you that pornography could damage the brain, not only of your children, but anyone for that matter. So if you found the content of this episode beneficial, then please share it with others, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget that. Subscribe to our channel and leave comments below. And we'll see you next Thursday. See you then.
So you always see the studies where they expose them to it.
Yeah.
And then they react and read things. This is showing not at all no exposure.
Yes. It is.
And it was 15 people.
15. And they had to find them. That's the problem.
And the other 15, totally baseline.
Sexual tastes vary from person to person, but with...
Definitely, yes.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is. All right, so here's another one. This is the science of pornography. It's a 3-minute one, and then we got another 3 minutes. So
the current pornography epidemic, as some call it, one has to wonder how exactly this may affect our desires and perception of sexuality. Moreover, how does it affect our sex lives? Pornography constitutes about 25% of all search engine requests and is the 4th most common reason people give for going on the internet. And while it may seem to simply facilitate an instinctual sexual response linked to millions of years of evolution, the truth is, pornography has dynamically changed over time, ultimately molding our tastes and desires. The not-so-shocking truth is that pornography has profound consequences for the brain and acts in many ways like a drug. With prolonged exposure, your tolerance is increased, and many often find themselves addicted. Though it's not a physical substance, it leads to the same general loss of control, the compulsiveness to seek out the activity despite negative consequences, and withdrawal when it goes away, much like that of gambling or running, for example. The issue is that continued exposure can cause long-term or even life...
When you were younger, was it continuously on your mind, if you were with your friends or doing other things, was it on your mind then?
Not continuously, but if I got near the computer or whatever, yeah.
If you got near the computer, if other people were around, did you have those thoughts and compulsions? So you associated that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And it's it can be, yes.
So
it'd be get rid of your friends or whatever so that you could be alone.
Right. So then you damage relationships and stuff like that. But so yours was mostly based, it seems to be, out of anxiety.
Yeah.
It was because it does release the endorphins and everything. Because you had separation anxiety and everything, that was a way to cope with it. And we don't know if you were exposed to harsher medications when you were younger, which would already start you on that instant gratification train.
Yeah, we don't know, no.
So I'm just trying to fill space because we're a little bit...
I figure that this one will be.
So it's okay, we're getting there.
Yep.
Yeah, that's interesting. I was just kind of wondering because they do talk about with being addictions, it's it starts to override.
Yeah. Definitely.
Long neuroplastic change in the brain. Dopamine is released as a reward whenever we accomplish something, whether it be eating to sustain life or sexual activity to produce future life. And this dopamine consolidates neural connections in order to drive us to perform the same activity in the future. In other words, it alters and forms the brain cells to motivate certain actions. It rewires your brain. The National Institutes of Health measure drug addictiveness by testing rats. The rat is trained to press a button in order to get a drug, and the harder it works indicates how addictive the substance is. It turns out that the more addictive a drug is, the more dopamine we see released. And while there is, unfortunately, no rat porn that we can give to them, we do know that dopamine is also released during sexual excitement, which pornography plays right into. The more time you spend doing it, the more dopamine gets released, which reinforces the behavior and makes you not only desire it in the future, but require it. And as you begin to imagine these images away from the computer or while having sex, they become reinforced. Furthermore, each orgasm releases even more dopamine, which consolidates the connections made during the session. It's a feedback loop that becomes harder to escape. And just like a drug, your tolerance for visual stimulation has now compounded, making it more difficult to be turned on by reality. Pornography addiction can often lead to finding your mate less attractive. The good news is, it doesn't have to be permanent. Usually when people understand the mechanism and realize it's affecting their relationships, they can stop. The brain is often described as a use it or lose it system because the neural connections you stimulate grow stronger and desire to be activated, while the ones you ignore become weakened. Much like your muscles, which, if sitting still all day, itch for activity, but after prolonged non-use, they become complacent. Luckily, because of this use it or lose it brain, the same neuroplastic system that proliferates these habits can also be used to acquire healthier ones. Got a burning question you want answered? Ask it in the comments or on Facebook and Twitter. And subscribe for more weekly science videos.
Like actual intimacy.
Yes,
it's like
that is a big thing.
Ladies that are dealing with guys with this sort of situation need to really bring their A game. Not so much on putting on slutty outfits and doing all these things to try to live up to that image, but real, true, honest intimacy.
Yes.
You know, not just the sexual act, but, you know, laying there together, you know, the foreplay before, or just playing around, just being in this intimate setting.
Yes.
Because it's like, unfortunately, a lot of women try to live up to that to try to make sure that they're, and it's like, you're just never gonna do it.
No, you're not.
And if you do happen to do it, then you're always gonna have to do it because it's gonna be equated with that.
And it's gonna take a lot more each time.
Right. And
it's the same thing. It's just like when you watch porn, it gets harder and harder with that even. Because the more you do, the more that has to be done.
Right, so that's why it started with, you know, regular porn, and then it goes to gay porn, and now they've got trans porn.
Yeah.
And then you've got bestiality, and you've got...
Yeah, all
different. You know, it ends up going into child pornography and all that kind of thing. All those dangerous areas. But it's like, that's
But then that's more excitement.
Right. And it's dangerous, and people might catch you, and it's like, that's another thing to boost the endorphins that come from it. So in order to correct this, then like I said, you have to just start engaging in real, true intimacy.
Yes.
Luckily, you and I never had that problem. Like,
no.
I don't think that our life ever, like, you know, suffered for that.
No, not at all.
But for the people that do, it's like maybe nothing will happen the first few times that you're together trying to be that way. But if you avoid the porn and you avoid the triggers and you just keep being with each other, eventually nature will override and instinct will override anything else that you've seen or experienced, and you'll link up.
You'll not.
In the past, there was a lot of misguided information about pornography and masturbation. One of the most popular ones was that masturbation leads to blindness. Over time, science debunked many of these notions. Unfortunately, popular culture...
No, stuff like that was just your parents trying to scare you out of doing it. Now, you know, in a lot of ways, you know, people say that that is bad, but, I mean, it can be done in healthy doses and be okay.
What did it say?
What?
What did it say?
It said, you know, that you were told that you'd go blind if you did it too much.
Actually, scientific reasoning behind that, because if you keep,
but he just said it's been debunked.
If you keep an erection for longer than 4 hours, it can affect your vision because of the blood pressure.
Yeah.
You know, but it's not like if you continuously do that act, you're going to go blind. But if you hold an erection for longer, or have keep getting them over like a short period of time.
Yeah.
Then it can affect your neurotransmitters to the point where
of course, because that's blood flow.
A little bit of truth to that. So somebody knew that somewhere at some point.
Yeah.
TV, music, literature, and movies still make it a priority to depict characters casually using pornography or masturbation. From your childhood, you were subconsciously bombarded with information implying that sex is good and achieving orgasm was a wonderful thing before you even knew what it meant. Women were encouraged to claim their orgasm as their sexual nature was suppressed, and to a certain extent, it still is. Pay attention when you next watch your favorite series on Netflix and see how often you can catch the common underlying message, which actually states orgasm is one of the most precious things to achieve in life. If you don't or you cannot achieve orgasm, then you're some sort of loser. Now, children today are literally bombarded with pornography, and parents have no idea how to protect them from it. So many magazine ads are full of sexual innuendo, music videos which are hiding behind the veneer of free speech are extremely suggestive. Social media, Instagram, and Facebook are full of straight-up pornographic images and videos. One of the most insidious ways the subconscious mind is manipulated into accepting porn culture is through leaked celebrity videos. This is extremely powerful because a young person who may identify with a particular actor.
Yes, and people do not fall for that. The celebrity leak stuff. You know, a lot of that actually is viruses. But you know.
And even if it's quote unquote leaked, it's done by the celebrities on purpose.
Yeah, on purpose, so that they can get you to get their stuff.
It's literally nothing new because Rob Lowe, I think, was one of the very first ones that they ever talked about having that sort of a situation with.
Yeah.
And he had.
That was on like Family Guy or Simpsons or something.
Yeah, I can't remember. I just remember hearing about it. I was not allowed to watch any movies with Rob Lowe. So when I started watching, what was it, Parks and Rec?
Yeah.
I'm like. I'm like, I can't look at that guy. I'm like, and then I'm thinking, I'm like, why? What was the situation there? I'm like, that was it. He had a leaked sex tape when he was only like maybe 19 years old or so. And it was just this big thing. And they were like, he was a predator and all this stuff. And it's like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Actress is then given permission to engage in these sex acts. The message is, if my hero can engage in these sexual acts, then so can I. If I don't, then I'm not living up to the values or the image of my on-screen hero. Now, if you're a parent or a concerned person, it's easy to feel angry and kind of powerless about it. Don't be. Try and make it a game to find out how the media and popular culture is normalizing pornography. They frequently use different components, such as shock factor, novelty, size, taboo, color, and so on. You can even begin teaching your preteen kids about how to identify these aspects of porn normalization. We'll put together a video soon on that topic. Have a great day.
Yeah. Alright, that is the last of our videos that we have for today, so I hope that you ladies and gentlemen enjoyed this and maybe got some information that'll help you in the future or now. Next week I'm going to be heading back to Eastern versus Western philosophy, and I got a few more videos there that I'm going to show and we're going to go over. So
Wednesday too.
Yeah, I got my win. That's on Friday. Wednesday we'll have our Don't Cringe Wednesday. Woke Wednesday. So stay tuned for that. And as always, like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and if you like something, let me know. Just put it in the comments.
Share your story, man.
Namaste. Share your story with us. Now watch me do this for
20 minutes.
20 minutes here. I can get it to work.
We got fried chicken now.
Yeah, we do. Got food.